Who will win Eurovision 2026? In this video, I'll look at all the main contenders, breaking down what's their path to victory. And this year is so exciting because it's so open. Like, I don't think we've had a year that has been this competitive for a good while. And at the end of the video, I'll put forward the three main contenders and who I think takes home the crown. So let's get into it. And first out is France, which is super polished, editorial, with a huge vocal climax. Like, this will definitely appeal to the juries. Could we have a Popera winner for the juries a third year in the row? I actually think that's unlikely. And the juries have so much to choose from this year. So obviously this will be high up with the juries with those outstanding vocals. But at the end of the day, I don't think France will win the jury. And to be a jury winner, they not only need to win the jury, but also a sufficiently strong televote. And I just don't think this connects enough with the wider audience for this to get enough televote scores. Like, look at Lazara, look at Luan. They didn't even get more than 50 points each with the televote. So I don't see how this song connects more with the wider audience than those did. So for me, France is actually out of the winning conversation. Another jury winning contender is Australia. Obviously, it's a super strong performer, probably the strongest we have this year, showcasing amazing vocals with a beautiful song, elevated staging. Yeah, this could definitely take home the jury. But then again, Australia struggles with the televote. Not everyone thinks Australia should be in Eurovision, which is crazy, but they just don't have any natural allies with the televote. And I also think, although the package overall has very broad appeal, I don't think the song is instant enough. Yes, there is a hook there, but it kind of blends in with the overall tone of the song, which is more maybe bland and generic for a lot of viewers. So this will again struggle with the televote. And I actually think that one of these two will not even do as well with the juries as we think they will. Then I think the strongest jury winner contender is Denmark. They won the Euro jury. I think this performance is authentic. If the juries go for more pop, this stands out. This is in its own lane. It feels very Danish. And I think the performance also connects strongly with viewers. I was blown away seeing this the first time. If this wins the jury, I think this definitely could get high enough televote score to be in contention, but he's gotta nail those vocals. And the problem that all these entries have is that there are so many strong jury entries this year. So I think the jury score will be a lot more wider spread than we've seen the last couple of years. Not to mention the juries being back in the semifinals means that more jury favored songs actually get through to the final, increasing the spread of those points. And I think the potential televote winners have stronger jury appeal than what the jury winners have televote appeal. So let's dive into those. And the first, the obvious one out, is Greece. Viewing numbers on streaming platform, this has just exploded. I think there's a big momentum behind it after the dress rehearsals. This is in strong contention. And not only is it super fun and has a polished staging with a super charming performer, it also has that kind of vocal show-off of display, and he's vocally stronger than the usual bad boy entries that we've seen the last couple of years. So if Greece wins the televote, actually do as well as they did in Eurojury scoring with the actual jury. Eurojury, for those who don't know, is a mock jury, kind of a fan organized jury of professionals, which obviously isn't perfect, but you can't disregard it completely either. And Greece came fourth. So if Greece does as well there and then wins the jury vote, they're in a strong position to take this home, but they most importantly got to win that televote. And now there's another strong contender for this, which is Israel. I don't think this has merits on its own, but we know what it's been like the last couple of years. Hugely inflated political support by a small minority of people voting 20 times. For example, even in a country like Spain, it only took 500 people to vote 20 times for them to get the maximum points from the televote. However, I think there are a few arguments why Israel will get less points this year. Sympathy vote is definitely less. The ad campaign, although they tried to run it, it's been stopped. They've lost 5 Western countries, and that's where they got their main sympathy points, not from the East. And we've had more Eastern countries join. So that shift, plus this entry just isn't as strong as the last couple of years, and it doesn't have the same political narrative. So I really hope the televote scores won't be as inflated this year, but I don't trust it. So there's a huge chance this could still take home the televote and hamper any other televote winners' chance to win the whole contest. But this really shouldn't get enough jury scores to actually win. And then one country that could actually take home the televote and therefore win the whole contest with good enough jury points is Finland. Yeah, I think this has real potential with the televote, although the initial narrative was always like a jury favored song, but that has kind of shifted, interestingly enough. And this seems to connect very broadly through the screens, so I would definitely not count this out, especially since Greece is also competing with countries like Moldova and Armenia for similar kind of votes. This is emotional, it's polished, it really connects, and then it could definitely get enough jury points to win. However, I probably think it's a stronger contender as a compromise winner, meaning getting second or third place with the televote and the same with the juries, and the other top contenders not getting enough points from the other side where they don't get their huge points from. I think that is Finland's most likely path to victory. And over to a couple of entries that I think are being overlooked. And the first one is Italy. This has super broad appeal, and if Finland for some reason flop, this could charm both the juries and the televote enough to actually come high enough with both and be a compromise winner. However, I don't see that the staging is impactful enough to have that kind of winner moment, and he's been vocally a little bit challenged, so I actually think Italy is out of the winner conversation. Another potential compromise winner, yeah, it's Ukraine. They've done it before in 2016 with Jamala, and this has super impactful staging. If the points for Australia, France, Israel, Greece are just too split, and even Finland, this could potentially sail up and have strong jury appeal as well as a huge vote from the public. We've seen that in the past with Ukraine. It could happen again. This is really beautifully performed and has an elevated staging. But personally, I don't think the song is there. And it is a song contest after all. So I think this is probably out of the winner conversation as well. Then a few dark horses. And the first one, which has massively surprised in rehearsals, and that's Croatia. Yeah, I think its path to victory would also be a compromise winner, like shocking everyone and getting second or third with the juries, and then getting a huge televote score as well. And the points for the other favorites being too split. This could really surprise, and it has a building momentum. The staging looks gorgeous, they're nailing the vocals. This is a really impactful entry, and I wouldn't count it out. And another one that's really elevated with the staging and is definitely a dark horse to win, it's everyone's favorite, Romania. Yeah, this is a super strong package, super strong performance, very memorable song and staging. This will stand out. I think its path to victory would be to actually win the televote, and I don't think that's impossible. It could actually knock Finland, Greece, even Israel out of the way and take home the televote. And if it just then gets enough jury points, this could actually be in contention to win. And she's definitely showcasing enough of vocals for this to be appreciated by the juries. However, they do tend to mark down rock entries, provocative entries, and even though the staging has elevated massively, I'm not sure the staging is there for the jury to really appeal. It's still kind of chaotic, even if it's in a controlled way. It's not completely out of question, but it would be a dark horse win if they manage to bring it home. One honorable mention, which I don't think is a dark horse, is Sweden, because Sweden should be in the winning conversation. It has an impactful staging, the song is very instant, super beautiful vocals. But honestly, I think Sweden tends to be overvalued in both the odds and with the fans. Well, with the fans, not because it's Sweden, but because it's a girly bop. So I think this is actually for a huge surprise and risks flopping with the results. But yeah, I think Sweden is out of this conversation. So now it comes down to it. So out of these 11 countries, who do I think is actually in it with a real chance? Greece is definitely there. It has great momentum. I think this could really bring home the televote and surprise people with the juries. This is definitely in with a huge shot of winning. The second one, which I wouldn't count out, is Israel. If we continue to see the same shenanigans with the televote and the jury surprise and appreciate this more than the last couple of years' entries, yeah, I think there's still a huge risk that that happens. And then who I think are the two main contenders, I think it will be down to two possible compromise winners. And one is Denmark, maybe not winning the jury, but coming second and then getting a much bigger televote than expected. I think they could surprise and challenge Finland way more than people expect, because I feel like this really connects through the screens. And then obviously the main one is Finland. And I also want to reveal that is my winner this year. So I'd be really happy with the win for Denmark, Romania, Greece, Croatia, Australia. But my personal winner is definitely Finland. And I think when it comes down to it, they could win as a compromise winner. They could win as a jury winner. They could win as a televote winner. This just has the most possible chances to win in different avenues, and therefore I think it's most likely that Finland will win. But let me know what you think. Where am I completely wrong? And who is your winner this year? Let me know in the comments. And Eurovision week is here, so like and subscribe if you want more reactions, predictions, ratings. And I hope to see you in another video soon. Bye.